SoFi closed green today as the battle for control continues. Today, the Federal Reserve cut interest rates by a quarter point, leading to the market to surge up. SoFi continues to battle the spot, holding up and trying to find that move to the upside, correcting from this 5% gap down level move. Now, take you guys over to the weekly. We have this general chop range that we were examining in the last analysis. We explained that we were in the middle of that range, and we're still really kind of in the middle there, leaning towards that bottom half, but we're still battling, right? Closing at $27 with a very strong support just under that spot. So still in a very bullish territory after breaking out of that long-term cup and handle structure. Really still in that breakout level movement with just a chop range, finding that energy. Buyers and sellers battling it out for control, which if the buyers come out on top here, guys, right, with that good news in the market with the Fed cutting those interest rates, we could be seeing a good month of bullish price action. Sure, the sellers might try to step in, but we are set up for some nice price action within the month now, right? If SoFi corrects and finds these all-time highs, if we break out, guys, we could be seeing levels like $40 or higher, given how long we've been building up that energy. As we've seen an $852 level turn into a $32.73 level with really no test from the sellers. And now we have around a couple months, over a couple months now, guys, of price action, building up that energy, going back and forth, battling for that control. So once we go to the upside and break out of the structure, guys, we have a ton of energy built and a ton of momentum on our side to steamroll us to levels like 35 and 40. Now, taking it back to the daily, guys, we are right above that support level of 26.31. That'd be your main support. Once was a resistance, turned into a support level. That'll be very important, as well as the $25 level being a very strong support, being that catalyst to break us out of this pennant structure, leading to the upside, as well as a bounce spot right here, leading us to $30 for the first time. So 25, very strong spot. So the moral of the story, guys, we have a lot of padding to the downside if the sellers try to step in here. And we also have plenty of room to the upside. We're looking to fill this gap, which was roughly around a 5% gap to the downside. You see the buyers kind of correct that, but you see 2 trading days after that close with the seller's favor, and today we see a green candle battling for that control. So we see a little bit of back and forth. No real notable moves since that gap down level, guys. We really haven't moved any lower, right? Getting above that gap down spot. But the main thing you guys want to look out for is finally the buyers to step in, start to find that gap down fill. We want to fill this gap down and be in a territory where we can break out of this possible resistance marker, guys, which would be right above, right where we're at, to around that gap down fill, and then find that resistance break. That's the most ideal case scenario within the next week of price action or so, guys, right? Finding that gap fill and break out of this resistance, which could be leading us to a very volatile test of that $30 level. Take it to the hourly. What we're looking at here is that gap down, guys, right? We saw that gap down. We saw buyers buy it right back up, and we kind of just battled it. Saw a little bit of a descending profile, but then we've seen buyers step in when they had to, and we really are still above that initial gap down spot. So not a whole lot of price action going on recently, guys. More or less just chop sideways, trying to find that control. So buyers and sellers are battling for that control since that dilution gap down, right? Reminding you guys that this was not bad news or bad fundamentals. This was purely dilution from SoFi diluting their shares. Now, if we flip on a SPY currently, guys, the overall market, we've seen around a month of price action to the downside, that quick Thanksgiving rally back up, an ascending profile. And today with Fed cutting interest rates, we've seen a nice green day. Now we're really going to test those all-time highs of 689.70, guys. So we did get right around that range. We hit 688.97 today being the general high, and then we close at 687.57. So really getting close to those all-time highs. Where we break out of that, guys, we're kind of in no man's land in the overall market. You know, there's not a lot of really any points to go off of. So we could be seeing a very strong uptrend for the rest of the month, or this could be a spot where sellers try to step in after all of the hype that we saw and keep us battling for that claim of all-time highs, right? We could be seeing a touch of all-time highs, but the question is, are we going to claim it, and is it going to be sustainable? So we're looking out for as we're anticipating this possible Christmas rally and this end of December rally that we're so used to seeing, right? The middle towards the end of December. A lot of the times, guys, as history shows us, we do tend to see a very bullish market, and that could be correlating to SoFi. As if we have a very bullish market, it's going to help SoFi get out of the little funk that it's in, right? Like we explained, guys, we were really set up after that very beautiful bounce holding at 30 and 28.60, holding within that range for multiple days, as every other time, guys, we could not hold in that range. It was either up or down. Really a tough spot to hold. And we saw price get really, really tight after a very volatile move, being a beautiful structure. Huge volatile move, chopping sideways, building up that energy, boom. Right? We could have seen a beautiful move out, and instead we get diluted, which I don't understand the whole thought process on that by SoFi. We were in a beautiful position. They dilute their shares. Not exactly the best or most ideal case scenario, but we still are in a very good battling zone with a ton of padding on stock. Right, the absolute low of this chop structure being that 23.76, and then high being all-time highs. We're definitely at around the middle of this range, and ideally we get a bounce right here, lead us out, and find the higher echelon of this range once more. But on the flip side, if the bears do gain that control, you could be feeling very good at that $25 level, as well as that bottom being that 23. Extremely good support levels, some to really lead us to some monstrous gainers. And just like we saw right here, guys, right, that bounce off that spot and complete 180 in price being very tough. Lots of descending, weaker bounce attempts back up. Lots of control by the sellers, and we see the whole market flip, but in particular, we see SoFi really flip the narrative after hitting that spot. So nothing to be worried about, guys. We still hold that very bullish narrative and end of the month prediction of all-time highs. But now we see that the market's in a little bit of an interesting spot. It's good that the Fed cut those interest rates, but now we're getting close to those all-time highs in the overall market, and soon to be, right, if we get past that, we will be in no man's land where you really don't know what the next move is going to happen. Are we going to really ride those all-time highs for the entire month? Or are we going to see a bit of trouble as we enter a new region in the market? So that's kind of where we're at. SoFi is in a better position as far as how much padding we have and how much upside potential we have. We've just had a 5% gap down from dilution. We have a beautiful support at 26.31, right, holding up a couple times in the past, guys, being a very reliable support level. And we have some very strong support at 25 and 23 that will hold up if that does not. So we still are in a very optimistic outlook here. But sooner than later, seeing that price action to the upside, filling this gap will be ideal. So next week of price action going to be pretty important for SoFi, I believe, but still very bullish on the stock. So that'll do it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoy the updates, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. Don't miss one. And let me know your price predictions in the comments below for SoFi, as well as the overall market. What are you guys thinking about the Fed cutting the interest rates? What are your guys' outlooks? I'm interested. Let me know in the comments. And as always, guys, trade smart. I'll see you all in the next one.